The final trailer for the new Joker movie just dropped, and it looks awesome as hell. It includes a lot of hints about the movie's plot and connections to comics and pop culture, which we're going to break down for you right now. This is Screen Crush. The trailer starts with Joaquin Phoenix's character Arthur on his commute, either to work or maybe a psychiatrist. This long rail line draws a parallel with Batman Begins. In that movie, Gotham's commuter rail and all of its utilities ran through Wayne Tower. So symbolically, the Waynes were the lifeblood of Gotham. But in this movie, as we'll see later on, there is corruption and disease symbolically spreading throughout the city, with Thomas Wayne at its center. Arthur is trying to entertain a little boy on the bus, and he has a genuine knack for this. The boy's having a good time, but society, led by his creeped out mom, won't let Arthur entertain people. This is probably going to be the whole arc of the Joker distilled in just this one scene. But notice in this shot, Arthur is tying on his clown shoes with a makeup mirror in the background. This shot, coupled with a few from later as well as the previous trailer, hints about his job. It looks like he works for a clown agency who hire men out to work various jobs, like sign twirling or cheering up kids in a hospital. Notice this painting of a clown surrounded by wild carnivores. This, again, could have multiple meanings. One, that society is preying on Arthur, and it's about to devour him, and all he can do is laugh. Or two, that life is a circus of violence, but the clown is unaffected. This is reflected later when we see citizens rioting while wearing clown masks, apparently inspired by the Joker. This is Deborah Kane, Arthur's psychiatrist assigned to him through social services. She first appeared in the novel Batman Ultimate Evil, where the Dark Knight takes down a ring of pedophiles. This shot of Arthur in the locker room with a bruised back comes after this attack in the alley. Notice that he's advertising in a bad part of town, judging by this porno theater. This is one of many ways the movie is evoking the 1970s and early 80s work of Martin Scorsese. The main character of Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle, has a lot of scenes where he drives through these seedy neighborhoods, judging the people that he sees on the streets.
All the animals come out at night.
Next, we see Arthur in a hospital room with his mother. Now remember from the first trailer that his mom is the center of his life. So if something happened to her, this could be the first step to making him go insane, especially if powerful outside forces were responsible, but I'll get to that in a minute. He's watching a show called Live with Murray Franklin. Robert De Niro plays a late-night host, which is a fun callback to his 1982 film, The King of Comedy. In that movie, De Niro plays a struggling stand-up comedian who kidnaps his idol and forces him to let him appear on his favorite late-night talk show. It looks like the Joker is kind of copying this plot, but on a more massive scale. In this scene, he watches himself on TV. Now, he's wearing the same clothes from his stand-up set later in the trailer, and if you notice, you'll see that Zazie Beetz is in attendance. So I think they met, maybe in his building, struck up a conversation, and he invited her to his stand-up set. And it's really important to him because it's being taped and he's going to send it to the Murray Franklin show. And maybe the set goes all right. He's optimistic, but then this crack just tears him down. So that's what really causes him to start going mad. He's surrounded by violence, rejection, humiliation, and pain. Gotham is even reflecting his mental decay. Trash is going uncollected, the walls are cracking, and citizens are turning violent. Here we get a look at Mayor Thomas Wayne, father of Bruce, who we might have seen in the last trailer. I think that Arthur starts to focus all of his pain on Thomas. This is another homage to Taxi Driver, where Travis became obsessed with assassinating a politician. I'm also wondering if the women in this movie are meant to mirror Taxi Driver as well. In that film, Travis becomes obsessed with two women, Iris, a young prostitute, and Betsy, who he takes on the worst first date ever to a porn theater. Betsy would have a parallel with Zazie Beetz' character. He could even be doing all this to impress her. In this shot where they kiss, she first looks surprised, like it's the first time she's seen him in the Joker makeup, but she's still attracted to him. Iris's parallel is Arthur's mother. Both are women that he feels close to in a non-sexual way, who he wants to protect from the evils of this city.
You should be dressed up, you should be going out with boys, you should be going to school, you know, that kind of stuff.
There's a newspaper headline about a murderous clown, but then suddenly protesters and rioters are wearing clown masks too. So, and this is just a guess, what if Arthur assassinates some corrupt city official or Wall Street executive, and this inspires the people of Gotham to violently rise up against corruption? We do see him go face to face with Thomas Wayne for the first time. The mayor is wearing a tuxedo, implying that he's at this screening of Chaplin's Modern Times. That movie is loaded with symbolism too. In it, Chaplin plays a hapless worker who's trapped in a machine, symbolizing the working class being economically trapped by industrialization. Judging by Arthur's clothes, this scene with the mayor looks like it takes place after this sequence. Arthur is threatening someone behind a clerk's cage, and then we see him running down a hallway filled with patients wearing scrubs. Notice this sign that reads, City Rep Office. So I think this is some kind of state hospital, maybe Arkham like we saw in the first trailer. This file he's carrying could be his own mental records, or it could be related to his mother. Maybe the reason he's after the mayor is because the government did something that made his mom sick. So this folder could contain evidence that he threatens the mayor with in this scene. There's a brief clip of Gotham rioting here. Notice the TV being hurled at a window and this car on fire. Shout out to Dark Knight. Then we see Shea Wingham's character, a police officer, chasing Arthur onto a subway. And notice this woman who's holding a clown mask and just sort of looking at the police out of the corner of her eye. She's not panicked or surprised to be holding onto the mask. She's an accomplice, and this shows just how far the Joker has extended his reach. People aren't just rioting in his name, they're actively protecting and aiding him in his crimes. In the next scene, this anti-authority attitude reaches its peak as the train passengers overtake the cops. Then we see Arthur finally making his appearance on Murray Franklin, and shout out here to comic legend Mark Maron. Arthur's appearance not only calls back to the king of comedy, but also the classic comic book The Dark Knight. In that book, the Joker books a guest spot on the David Endocrine show. The host treats him like a novelty act until the Joker gasses and kills everyone in the theater. So why would Murray Franklin book Joker on a show? Well, I have two theories. One, the Joker is just a hot act and Murray's looking for ratings. Or two, he's taken someone hostage, like the mayor's son Bruce, and he's demanding a guest spot on the show. A little later, we see this shot, riots outside a movie theater where the film Excalibur is playing. Now, Excalibur is about the whole arc of King Arthur's story, starting with the Sword in the Stone and ending with the fall of Camelot. Camelot fell because of corruption. Lancelot had an affair with Guinevere, this fractured the Round Table, and Arthur's son/nephew that he had with his sister Morgana ended up overthrowing the kingdom. So, just as Camelot fell from the inside, you can see Gotham decaying internally as well. The appearance of an Excalibur poster would set the film at about 1981. Now, this reoccurrence of theaters and Thomas Wayne appearing in a tuxedo is reminiscent of Batman's origin, that fateful night when young Bruce Wayne watched his parents gunned down by a common mugger. But what if this movie actually ends with that moment? But now we know that the corrupt mayor Thomas Wayne actually drove the bad guy to violence, and then it turned out that he was the real villain all along. So what do you think of the Joker trailer? What DC movie are you excited for the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For Screen Crush, I'm Ryan Airy.